Hey, oh, and sorry, you've been listening to the same build with no drop for Hey, oh, and sorry, you've been listening to the same build with no drop. Okay, I could probably go down in volume a little bit. Hey, oh, and sorry, you've been listening to the same. And now we're on a loop. Okay, this is off to a great start. Okay, I think that's working. Everything's quiet once again. Um, so what I'm doing today, or attempting to try to do today, is create house music on the Syntakt that's actually good. Because a lot of the time, I think music on groove boxes and stuff is like good for groove boxes, but rarely is it something that I'm like, hell yeah, dude, that bumps. Actually, that's not true. I mean, it bumps in its own way, but I'm trying to make like tech house today, and I've been trying for a little bit. Uh, that you're actually like, damn, kind of like this is a good track on its own. I don't know if I've succeeded yet, but I'll show you what I have, and then I'm gonna try to just chip away at this stuff a little more. So here we go. I don't know if I love this part. Sorry, this part. This sound in particular. I like this drop quite a bit. Actually, let's go through it in order. So we got this opening that I think is a little boring, but I sort of think it works. Like, imagine that you start playing for people or something. A hypothetical scenario that almost never happens. But imagine that you did. You know, you're kind of lulling them into something with this. And then you hit them with a bum. And if people are feeling the groove enough, they can listen to that for a second. Believe it or not. And then you hit them with the main sound here. This kind of chord sound. And you hit them with the rhythm a little bit. And I obviously mistimed that. But hold on. It'll happen right here. No, it won't. Here it is. There we go. The riser. And so that's kind of what I imagine this intro is like. Is it kind of catches people unsuspecting, who are, you know, off guard a little bit. And then you hit them with a real beat. So it takes it from very quiet to groovy, gradually but pretty quick. If I, you know, didn't drag it out by accident. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna cancel that so we can talk about this for a second. Turn it down for just a second. I think this beat is actually pretty good. I think there's a lot of things going on with it, and the loop is like fairly interesting. So we'll start with the percussion. Yeah, by the way, I have a pretty much throughout this whole thing, my one slot on the Syntakt is going to be like some sort of white noise swoosh, and I usually have it do that like at the start of every eighth measure, and then sometimes on the fill I have like a reverse swoosh that triggers. I can show you here probably. Sorry, this. I have this trig here on my fourth bar of every loop, and it's a fill trig, and it's a white noise, you know. So I can kind of, when I want to add a little transition flare in, I can hold down the fill button and it'll put in that sound or the swoosh in, and then this triggers automatically every eighth bar. So we have that. We have a kick, and then some various. Actually, I have a clap sound, and I have a snare sound, and I do them both because I liked how beefy it sounded. Then some, you know, hats and cymbal percussion, and so we have this main one. Sorry, this thing. You know, just on the offbeat. And then this sort of thing that hits every now and then. And then really quick, what are these? Yeah, 16th notes. And I have my, nope. Where's swing on this thing? Here. I have, apparently my project is not swung, which I think means that I went through and I micro-timed all of these hats to have 1/48 swing, which you should probably do like that, but maybe previously I might not have been able to figure it out. That's not true. I know where it is, but I think I just started shifting them, and then maybe some other stuff sounded good locked in on the beat, so I didn't want to set a whole swing for the project. I don't know. Anyway, those are the hats. And then snare, clap thing, kick, and then the bass is over here. Here, give it context. is just a super simple sound. I'll bring the filter up. We're at like 33 now. I think some of these have custom filter sets per step, so that's why we're not hearing the whole thing. We'll put this back wherever it was, somewhere in there. And it's just a 1-bar loop. I'll show you. We're in A. And so it's just like A, down to G, G sharp, A, and then A, and then this A up 1 octave. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, and I think there's probably, we got some portamento maybe a little bit on some of these steps. It's on generally, and then let me see if I bump it up at all. No, okay, portamento is just a little bit on everything. Kind of gives it a little bit of a groovy, bouncy vibe. This is probably also going into the FX track, which I'm pretty sure, let's see. I'm on the FX track now. I'm not even using the drive at all. I'm using this purely for sidechain. And let me see. Here, I'll zoom in on this real fast. Actually, that's a bad idea. I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, you can see on the screen here, these are the settings that I'm using for the sidechain. This depth, here, let me see what's a good example. What else is going in here? Actually, you know what? I lied. The bass is not even going into the sidechain. A couple things are going into the sidechain. The bass is not. The bass is just simply bouncy by itself, which is great, apparently. I made this pattern like a few weeks ago, which is why I'm not fresh up on it. And I made a few more in the interim. So yeah, I got that. This is going into the sidechain, and you can hear it bouncing. I can crank up the sidechain a lot, and you can hear it. Hear how it drops out? It gives it that bounce in time with the kick. But I back it off a little bit, somewhere around here. And then the riser, which is on 11, is also going into there. So when the riser plays during this part of the track too, it's very bouncy. Cool. And anyway, to just sum up what the effects track sidechain is doing, on the other key part of this is that when you're on the effects track, you want to put trigs on your, if you're doing like a 4x4, 4 on the floor, dance music, you know, beat on every quarter note type rhythm, put your 1, 5, 9, and 13 trigs on your effects track. Then on your amp page, set this envelope so that it has a dip, and you can fine tune this dip. If you add a little bit of attack to it, instead of just having it, you know, clip sharply at the kick, you can avoid a clicking sound, have it duck down for a second, and then have it pretty tightly come up. So don't, you know, something in here. And then this depth controls how deep that your sidechain is going to go. And again, this is sidechain. This is not a real sidechain. This is kind of like those plugins that duck your audio every quarter note or however you set the rhythm with a certain scoop. That's basically what we're doing here, but on the Syntakt instead of in Logic or whatever. So yeah, that's a much better sidechain trick than trying to use LFOs or things like that, which I've tried to do in the past. It actually sounds really good. But anyway, pattern is going. And I think these sounds, they play together, 6 and 7. This kind of bell sound is pretty sparse throughout the track, but is really distinct. And so I think it's a good element. Again, because we have not that much real estate to work with on the Syntakt. There's only 12 tracks, and I'm using 2 double ups for my clappy snare sound, and for this, you got to make every sound count. So then, yeah, there's this chord thing, which has a little bit of tune modulation and pan, so it kind of jumps back and forth between your ears. Let's zoom out a little bit again. Yeah. Then again, the percussion is pretty good. And as I'm doing this tech house stuff, pretty much I'm using at least like almost this whole block for percussion. Or maybe some of this if I want to use these for synth sounds. By the way, this riser is a really easy thing to make. It's just a really big, synth sound, very clear. What are these saw waves? Detuned down an octave, and then just automation up for your synth tune. And you have to really perfectly dial this thing in here, this amount, so that it hits 24. That's 2 octaves, so you'll have to do in multiples of 12, or exactly however you want the rise to go, and then you'll just have to fine-tune the timing here. That's the division that I have with this wave that worked to do it across 8 measures. Anyway, so yeah, I'll play this again. And so I have this riser set so that it doesn't trigger on the first time around. But now it'll trigger again here. And that's just so if I forget to mute the track, transitioning from pattern 1 to pattern 2, the riser doesn't start immediately. But now we're transitioning out, hopefully. I forgot to cue the pattern, but that's why I said hopefully, because I couldn't remember if I did. But anyway, imagine that we just build and rose again, and then it drops out. And then I have like this kind of weird sound. That's going to be a large part of the next track, if we want to call it that. And for all of these other elements, I have kind of either brought their filter down a little bit, or like band past them or whatever, to kind of make this part of the track like a lower energy bit. Another thing here. This other sound. And so I kind of bring them in one by one, I think, or at least that's how I'm doing this. Then another build pattern. Snares come in automatically on the second pass. And then that and that swoosh were on fill, which isn't actually necessary because I'm never planning to stay on that pattern for longer than how long it takes to build this pattern 4. And so we came from here, effectively. Then we kick up the tension a little bit. And I use that same sound from the drop, this thing, as the riser. And you can hear it's going into the effects track with a few other things. So that's why we're getting a pulsing here on the build, which helps us just remember the rhythm, or help people kind of feel the rhythm of the track. I think I'm just spitballing. I don't know. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I think I state a lot of things as like facts when they're not. They're just my opinions. But anyway, so yeah, it builds. And then 10 is the snare, and it only comes in on the second pass. There we go. And then 2 is that other snare. And that's actually the snare from the drop. So 10 is muted because it's a new sound that I don't know if I like or not. So I might work on that now. But like this part can play for a little bit, which actually I quite like this drop or whatever. I'll show you some parts of it. Oh. So this is the kick and the bass. Actually, before I even talk about that, listen to this. This is like a swarm sound. It's just really detuned. I don't even know if the reverb does a little bit to space it out, but it's constantly on in the background. And it actually starts back here. So after I transition out of this, you know, that goes... and a lot of these start muted, but I've already introduced this background sound that's going to continue for like several minutes probably. Now we're here on the drop. And I do that because without it, it's just a little dead. With it, it's like alive, kind of. And in a second, you're not even gonna hear it. You're not even gonna pick it up. You don't even really listen to it when you're hearing everything else in this track, but it fills everything out so good. This is a really common trick that's been around for like pretty much as long as I've known about electronic music and house music. These background layers. But this straight up, there's one track by Alesso, I think, that I used to bump in like 2014 or something. What is it? It says something like, "We're tearing up the roof," or something like that. We're rip the roof up. Something like that. I think that's the track, and I think it has like an insanely loud this kind of thing in it. And that's where I first kind of like clocked it, and I was like, oh shit, I should do that. So I did start doing that. Ooh, people are watching. Concurrent views 12. That's pretty good. Average view duration. That's pretty good. We had 3 people here at one time. That's pretty sick. Somebody, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not gonna make anybody talk. I don't like it when streamers do that. How's the video going? You can still see the screen. That's good. Okay. Anyway, that's there. What else we got in this beat? The bass is here. It's just a filter bump. You know, it's a super low sine wave. Tons of distortion. Really quick filter bump. Very little or no resonance. And then super quick. And it's kind of clicky. I don't actually mind. We got more hats. Similar offbeat hat, similar shakery type 16th note swung hat. I think on this project I did actually set the swing properly, so I don't have to micro time every step. But then let's see. I might have done it on the previous pattern here because maybe I played something in by hand and I liked the swing of it, and so then I had to match like the exact swing of what I played, and setting the knob was hard. And just matching the 1/48 micro timing was easier. I don't know. I'm making stories up. But bass, kick, this sound, snare sound, not doubled up this time. And then this percussion sound is pretty fun. I like this guy a lot. So that's what the percussion sounds like for this part. Then there's other sounds. I like these kind of sounds actually quite a bit. I use them a lot. Kind of like wind sounds almost. But then yeah, so you do that, or I did that. Well, this is not a tutorial. This is just me working on the stuff on a live stream. Been yapping quite a bit. Anyway, we're almost through it. Sometimes talking about it helps me explain and figure out what I'm going to do next. And basically, I'm trying to use all these sounds similar to this pattern over here. and kind of like ancillary ear candy almost sounds just to add rhythm to the track, spice up the sparseness, but not too much. Because if it's just, you know, sorry, let's do this. This gets boring, so you kind of want something to happen, like this is a 1-bar loop. You want something to happen on the timetable of every 2 bars, and then maybe like every 4 bars, and then maybe every 8 bars, is how I'm thinking about it. So this happens every 4 bars. This kind of fills in the gap. It happens on the 3rd bar the first time, and then on the every other time, there's something that happens. Maybe this happens at the end of the 2nd bar the first time. Then it happens at the end of the 2nd bar and the end of the 4th bar. This kind of sound. And it's probably offset from this sound. So see how this is on the 4th page, is on 9 and 12. Sorry, track 7. This starts actually, they're pretty much overlapped, which is not the best. But this other sound though, this always happens at the beginning of bar 1 and the beginning of bar 3, and then those other sounds happen on kind of pages 2 and 4, bars 2 and 4. And I do that so that you're not having all your sounds play on top of each other. There's kind of like a give and play and a call and response, and like the track is a little more open. See, like this pattern, sorry, let's put everything back in. It's like this square sound, then this, then the square. So they kind of trade off. And then I brought in this other sound, which is not going to play on the first time through, actually, so I'm going to mute it because it has like a reverb glitch or something. I don't know. Maybe I can let you hear it. This other sound that I'm not sure if I'm in love with yet. Maybe it's the melody, maybe it's the sound itself, I don't know. But it is... Yo, there are people chatting. I'm sorry, I was on the wrong screen. Hello. Had you tried making minimal deep tech? To be honest with you, I don't know how all of those subgenres stack on top of each other. So if you can link me something that's minimal and deep and tech, then I can try to recreate it, actually, because I think that's the next thing that I'm going to do. I have my, here, I'll zoom out. Let's see, that's the wrong way. Over here, I have my, my decks, my DJ controller, and so I'll probably queue up a couple tracks on there, and try to kind of get the right sound quality and balance. That's kind of how I ended up with this. I modeled this drop off of a drop from another track, and then I don't know if I did the exact same for this. Maybe I did. Yeah, sometimes I like to have a reference track that's like a real house track, and it just all go through my mixer so that I can like hear one track and then the other track, and sometimes like I'll set the Syntakt tempo to the track on my DJ controller, and then I'll like basically beat match to the Syntakt so they're in sync, and then on my mixer I can just kind of like turn one up and then turn one down and like kind of like go back and forth to see if I have like the bass at the right volume, or like if I want to bring in like, you know, to get just kind of get the feel right. It's kind of what you would do with a reference track in your DAW, but I just do it with multiple pieces of gear. Very groovy. Haha, yeah, the genre's like parent is so weird. Awesome how machines work. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Also, I don't know if Screaming Strings, you're still here, but sup. Then, let me finish talking about this. I don't know what else there is to say. Things kind of take turns playing. Then I was kind of thinking I'd do something like this. You bring this out. You kind of pare it down. Could have done that a little more smoothly. But then you get down to just like this sound. And then I was kind of fooling around and I came up with this other sound that goes with it, or that it kind of morphs into. And so it's the same patch, I think, like the same synth setup, maybe with the filter open a little bit more, but on like this kind of really groovy rhythm. But what it's done now is it's taken a track that was like pretty, like at least a lot more sparse. And turned it into something that's much, much more full. And so I'm kind of debating whether it's like, it's just kind of like, it gets really repetitive. And so I think I'm going to change it. Like, I'm not in love with it. And I kind of want to end up where I'm in love with like most of my patterns. I have a few other patterns that I'm working on. This is kind of a weird one. It's like pretty heavy with this kick bass. And I don't know how I feel about this one either. This is the bass and the kick. It's doing both with one patch. And then there's this other lead sound. By the way, I just straight up ripped this patch, like this whole track, off of one song that I have on my mixer over here, or my DJ controller. I don't remember what it's called or who it's by. But I can play it later and give them, and I can show you. I basically just like recreated the track on here, and I'm like calling it like my own, which is stealing, but c'est la vie, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so this is kind of a pattern that I don't know how I feel about yet. I like this like ability to stop it totally. For that dun 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 sound. But yeah, I don't know if this is gonna make the cut ultimately. And then I also have this other one down here, which I'll kind of show you. Goes like this. Ooh, sorry, what happened with the reverb there, or with the delay? That was kind of crazy. Okay, that's normal now. Yo, hello, Bryce Learn Stuff. I appreciate the nice words, and that is sick as hell that you're in France. I mean, I guess that's where you live, so maybe it's not like, here, maybe I should not stand in front of the camera while I do this. I guess it's normal for you that you're, you know, in France. But from my perspective, France sounds pretty sick. So thank you. Anyway, yeah, so I have this other pattern here that's kind of more like, it's more techno-y. It's like slow techno. And then kind of like this drone sound. And so that comes around. It's this sound is a lot lower. You know, that comes around every 8 bars. Yeah, it is more like into techno. I agree. I guess I said it, so. It's hard to talk and use the Syntakt at the same time. Anyway, and then I have like this other sound that I can bring in. And then I have, on this pattern, I have 2 empty tracks now. And I say empty because these are the default sounds that I haven't done anything with. So I could also try to flesh this track out. because I don't know quite what it does yet. It's nice to sit here, but like, and I think that's like, this is definitely one of the tracks. There's like this kind of like this adage that I heard, and I think I heard it from, it's like some music production video, or like Sol State, is that channel? The guy like makes a bunch of like compiled music tips. Where do these patterns come from? You created them from scratch? Yes, I created all of these from scratch. So yeah, in also in designing the sounds, some of these are like this is probably just like a default snare sound, but like this bass, maybe this might be a preset. This is not a preset, this is a chord sound that I made. So I designed all the sounds, and then yeah, I programmed them all. So like this bass pattern in here, sorry, this guy, you know, I've entered this rhythm. I think I set some of these trigs to be different lengths, maybe not. Sometimes I do. Sometimes you can tweak your note length and it'll make a funkier bass, but in this case I don't think it was necessary, apparently. So yeah, I programmed them all, and actually, you know what, we can kind of go and do something new now. Let's see. I think so there's two options. We could flesh this out, or we could redo this pattern, and I think that's what I'm gonna opt for. I'm not thrilled with this, so I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna paste it down here, so now there's a copy of this, and I just save stuff down there for like backup. It's kind of like my, you know, these are all my patterns in order, and so then I just have a few scattered other ones, and there are many pages, of course. I can go through 8 banks of 16 patterns. So we could go to like bank 2, and you'll see that there's nothing. Sorry, there's nothing there. So it wants me to go back to bank 1. Anyway, my point being is that these are kind of like my throwaway ones that I'm not thrilled with, but I'm still keeping around in case I can't come up with anything better. Sounds good, man. Thank you very much, Remy, Mr. Remy. 007. This is another one. It was kind of like a version of this, believe it or not. They share similar DNA. And this is like a crazy sound, right? Like, that rocks. That's sick. But like, it didn't quite come together. It's like a little off. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, this one I love. This one's really funky. This one is also good. And then, yeah, I don't know what to do with this. I think we're just gonna clear it. So function, sequence cleared. There's nothing here now. It's saved down here, of course, but so then the question is, maybe we just leave this here as is, and then we build towards this. Because I do, even though this is crazy, I think I do like this pattern. And I'm not using this sound at all. Which, by the way, a bunch of people, in I think my most viewed Syntakt video, it's like it's called like how to build a live set or something like that. How to make a Syntakt live set or something. I call this the kotatsu sound because that's the name of the preset. If you go up here, it's called kotatsu. People think I'm missaying koto, which is like the Japanese string instrument, and calling it a kotatsu, which means like a table, basically. I'm not. It's what the preset is called. It's what the preset is called. Stop commenting that. I think there's like 2 people who commented that, but still. Anyway. So, I have like 3 sounds unused on this pattern, which is really busy anyway. But there's still room to grow. we can think about that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a transition pattern from this to this. And I'll do it similar to this. Which I'm going to actually let this play out because it'll be a good demonstration of where we're going. So the first time through this pattern, it doesn't do the riser, but now it'll do the riser. So build up out of the dancey pattern and then straight down into like a very quiet pocket here, dropping the bottom out basically. Then adding in stuff. So like, you know, these sounds, this sound, etc. And then we'll skip ahead here into a build pattern. So I think right now I'm gonna build like the drop the bottom out pattern from this. But then also what I'm gonna do, I'm kind of over this sound here, because it led into that other pattern. I'm gonna take the trigs off so we don't have to wait, or the conditional trigs off that make it only happen. So this sound, it plays on the like kind of off the main square melody. So I think I'm going to remove this because it's kind of going nowhere. I think it clogs up this track too much, and it's not feeding into the next thing anymore, so I'm going to remove it. And we're going to go here, and I'm just going to take off the trigs by hand because I'm always scared to hit clear. Because if you're on the wrong screen, you clear your pattern, and I know you can undo it, but if you don't recognize it fast enough, it's kind of gone forever. So I frequently undo trigs manually instead of hitting clear. And then I'm going to copy this sound. And then we're going to see if we can introduce this sound in this pattern using track 10. And so it'll foreshadow where we're going with the next dudes operating the Enigma. I assume that's like, is that like the Turing machine? I kind of get what you're saying, actually. I kind of see it. Let me zoom out a little here more. I want to see the whole Syntakt on screen. We can get more gear in the frame. By the way, how am I doing on battery? 70%. That's great. I thought the camera would be dying quicker. Anyway, so I'm going to introduce this sound into this pattern somehow. So we're going to start by copying the sound. Copy track 9 sound. We're going to go over to this pattern. I'm going to paste it on 10. So track, paste. Now it's over here. And it's playing on a different key because this track was set to a different default note. So now I got to remember what key this track is in so that we can like, well, actually, what does it play over here? Maybe we want it to introduce. Nah, we probably don't. We probably want it to be in key with this track here. On a live set that I made previously, I played sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I looked at chat and then it derailed my entire brain. Streamers have a hard job. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This is not my job. I'm just going to move on from whatever that was because it's gone. Cool. So this track, let's find the bass. Here. It is playing D. So we're in D. This is already set to D. That's great. And so on this pattern over here, it's going like, okay, track, thank you. Dun 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 dun. And then this is like a random chance thing. It's like a little stutter. So maybe we'll figure out how to get this rhythm in here on this side soon. So let's play everything. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. fitting yet. That's okay. That's getting something. I think that's kind of sick, actually. That was easier and worked better than I thought. I'm pretty happy with that. And I chose to do it specifically on page 2 and page 4 so that it plays off of this one. This is the square sound, which I don't know if I ever broke down the sound, actually. So that plays on page 1 and then again on page 3. I don't know how well you can see these blinking lights on the screen. Okay, it's not horrible. It's not that bad. Kai, have you sent that fax to HQ? It should be coming out back there any second. JK, that's just a printer. But I'm putting together a house, dude, on my synth. I've actually, okay, so I used to have a job that I had a lot of time sitting around. It was kind of like it was a job where it was in media, so like the days just kind of like ended when they ended. And so I did have my OPZ on a couple days, and I would just like sit around when there was dead time and like do shit on my OPZ, which was fun. I was not slacking off, so I did not, we didn't fax stuff, but I definitely sent a lot of emails. But yeah, it's cool to have one of these things around. Anyway, so yeah, here, this square sound, which I keep saying it's a square sound because I think it's a square wave, or it sounds like a square wave to me. What synth machine is it? Okay, it's whatever this percussion machine is. Did I make this sound? No, it's called location. So I think I might have given it this envelope, which, here. Actually, we gotta put the volume up. So that's what the synth sounds like, maybe normally. And then when you do okay, that's the wrong button. When you do this, it gives it that cool chop sound. A lot of this is like finding and dialing in the right sound, and it's kind of like I know it when I hear it kind of thing. And that's why I gave up on this other sound. Because it just, I know it when I hear it and I'm not hearing it. And for whatever reason, that's not doing it for me. So that's why we're kind of mixing things up. Or actually, we're just kind of like omitting that part and we're skipping to the next song, sort of. But anyway, now that's that square sound, which I guess it's not a square wave. It's whatever this percussion thing is. But it sounds like a square wave, and that's all that matters. So we can bring that in, and I probably won't have that playing at first. It'll be like the drop, which I guess maybe now we try it out. This is oftentimes what I do too. I make like one tweak and then I listen to the whole thing again. And I do that in Logic, and I do that here too. Oh, and the snares. And I have to mute it so that we don't hear it yet. And then something that I kind of like to do, instead of just staying on this loop, like, because I have pretty much almost all my tracks playing, so there's kind of nowhere to go if I don't want to introduce this next thing yet. So sometimes what I like to do is drop everything out and then bring things back in one by one. Any thoughts on the Digitone versus the Syntakt for creating similar sets? I got the Syntakt. Actually, hold that thought. I'm gonna do this real fast. I'm gonna listen to how this sounds in this context, and then I will. That's actually sick. Let's see if we can bring everything back in now. Yeah. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. This is good. And then it'll lead right over to here with that same sound. And we'll make the transition now. But to answer the question, any thoughts on creating the Digitone versus the Digitakt for sets? I gotta stop leaning in front of this camera. Maybe I'll use my other arm for the laptop. I think the Syntakt might be a little better. And I know there's a Digitone too, and I don't really know what the deal with that is, right? There's the sequel. I like the Syntakt because it's 12 tracks. I think the Digitone is less. I like that you can do chords easier on it, as far as I understand. And I don't have one. So that's about all I can say. I don't know. I love the Syntakt. I think it's great. I've had a lot of good uses with it. Or like a lot of success, I think, with it. It's flexible enough to do pretty much everything I want to. I wish it had like more LFOs, because sometimes I get like an effect going, with the LFOs, and I need like this one to do something, and I need this one to like modulate the other one, and then I'm stuck. I can't like do like a vibrato on top of that. And so maybe I made the sound, and those LFOs are crucial to like the sound design that I'm doing, but then I'm like at a loss after that. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. I don't know. But limitations breed creativity. So yeah, I think the Syntakt gives you enough room to kind of do a lot, and make like some pretty interesting music, while also keeping you focused. And maybe the like kind of simple nature of a lot of the synths, like pretty much like the analog one is like the only one you can go and like choose a classic, like use it like my Moog basically, like where I would go through and like choose a waveform and do the filter and set the D2 on the second oscillator and the oscillator balance and stuff like that. All the other synths are like more abstract, where it's like, turn up the shimmer, dude. And you just kind of have to like listen and see what that sounds like. So some people don't like that. Some people want like this kind of wave choice, shape, and everything for all their stuff. And I think the Digitone might be better for that. I don't know. I know it's an FM synth, so I don't really know how that works. I don't know if you can like line up your operators and stuff and create your own sound. I think you can. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I only kind of have the gear that I have, and so I don't have like a ton to say about comparisons. I will say that I am more interested in getting like a sampler or something, than another synth box later. I almost got like a Roland like P6, like those little sampler things, because I think that's like the one thing that's missing is like some like real sound that I could throw in every now and then. Not to rely on for like drum samples, but for like texture. Anyway, yeah. Jake says the classic, take everything out and bring it back in one by one. Hell yeah, that is the classic. It's basically like every Daft Punk song is like, and I love Daft Punk a lot, but it's like drum sound, bass sound, other sound, loop, 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 drop it out, back in, loop, 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 end. Which is, or like, then they change something up in the second half sometimes. But like, yeah, on like their early songs, a lot of that. Anyway, cool. So let's build this dropout now. That is cool. Okay. So what I like to do when I think about this, I'm gonna copy this and paste it here so we have the same pattern. And I am gonna make immediately take out the kick. First thing, take out the kick. And then we want the bass maybe to come out. I'm just gonna mute the bass for now. Actually, I'm gonna take it out entirely. We probably want to bring in sounds from this next pattern, this thing, into here. So if 5 was where we were and 8 is where we're going, 6 is gonna be more like 5 and 7 is gonna be a build that's more like 8, if that makes sense. Wait, who does? He throws Incredible Lives every Friday. Let me use this other thing. Who does? Not me. Anyway, maybe I missed it. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm gonna make this pattern more like this one, while still introducing a couple pieces of this. So let's do that, and we're gonna make it really low energy. First of all, I think the crash is a little different over here. Yeah, it has like more grit, so let's copy this crash sound. And sometimes you also need to set your reverb settings to be similar for the sounds to work. So over here, reverb is up at like 89. So let's put it, okay, it's at the same there. Then let's try delay. Sorry, delay. Delay here is very low. And I think that's why we get, is this going to delay at all? Yeah, a little bit. And so you get a psh psh. It hits on my right ear, and then like 30 milliseconds, or I don't know, some amount of time, very small, short time later, left ear because of the delay. I guess it's kind of hitting straight on with a little bit to the side first, and then to the left with the ping pong delay. So anyway, we're gonna set the delay the same over here is the point. So we want the time to go down. Time is a 720 here, so we'll put 720 here. And the idea again is to bring some of the sonic character of pattern 8 over to pattern 6, so that we kind of build up and then leave. And actually, that's a good question of how we're going to build up out of 5, because I don't have a riser or anything in there. I'm going to solve that problem later. So anyway, yeah, we're going to drop some pieces of 8 into 6 while keeping a lot of texture of 5 while making it very small. And by small, I mean like low energy. We went from big drop, but we're going to bring it way down. Thanks a ton for answering. Oh, okay, wait. Dimitri Leo, that's his name. Okay, I'll check him out for sure. Thanks a ton for answering. Gonna hit the sack now. Enjoy your stream. Thank you, Bryce. From France, right? Yep. Bryce from France. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you later. Cool. Anyway, what am I doing? I am losing my train of thought talking about patterns 6 and 8. I'm just going to do the stuff that I'm actually talking about. So we got that over here. Hold on. I think I hear my cat. That's important. He went the other way. It's okay. Let's see. So we're here. This is not sounding the same. I guess maybe it is. No, it's a little grittier. What's different? Volume's a little lower. Is this going on the effects track? Nope. I don't know. Probably something obvious that I'm not thinking of. You know what? I think it's actually just the note. What note is this playing? A? Okay, yeah, it's just the note. And then the filter, maybe. No? This sounds a little more muffled to me. I'm going to stop sweating about it. We'll get to more interesting sounds. The next thing we want to do, because it's the main sound from over here, is this thing. So that's going to be on E now. And over here, we're going to put it on its correct track now as well. So let's copy the sound. Okay, it didn't work. I probably pressed the wrong button. Yeah, I did. I went to a pattern instead of the track. Classic mistake. So then the notes over here are like this. Sorry. And I think I just want to go dun 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 dun. And we'll just keep repeating that. It has the kick MIDI. Or I guess not MIDI, I don't know. Notes. So we're here. My concern is that we go from this being on D. Maybe let's try this on E. Let's bump this up. I think that's way less cool. Yeah, it sounds way better. So we got to go from that. Let's just see what happens. Maybe we go. I think the key change is going to be weird. How do we solve it? My first thought is to go D D D E E E D D D E and like alternate. And then I think that might be weird. It might be kind of fun. Let's try it. You never know if you don't try it. So we'll do that. We're on the right pattern. Yeah. Maybe we want. Okay. So these should go up to E. This might be stupid as hell. Okay, it didn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh, you know what? Because I did it on the entirely wrong track. Here we go. So let's do this. Track 9. And that. Okay, so this is working. That's not what I want to do. Track 9, pattern 6. Okay. D, D, D. Then these go up to E. Then these go up to E. It's not the worst. Let's do a few more things here so that we can get the real feel for this. Let's make this longer. Let's specifically on this trig. Thank you very much. I would like my sustain level to go down. Sustain level, please? Okay. That's a little annoying. Let's release. Yeah. I think that'll be fine. Now let's see what we're dealing with over here in terms of percussion. Let's copy that. Sorry, what am I doing? This. Now let's get the notes. Okay, this I actually will go clear. And let's just paste that. And then let's bring the filter down. The idea is that we're going to mute everything a little bit. still keep it in here. That is really loud. Well, let's see. It might be... I'm going to keep it for now, and then we'll fine-tune the swoosh later. We probably want whatever symbol I got here. I might pan this. I might pan these. Then let's see what else we got. Okay, stop. Am I really using this corny ass clap? Is this just like a... It works in context, but... It sounds really weak, but that's okay. It'll work for this part. Okay, we turned on too many things. It's a little bit quieter. I'll bring that down. That's kind of cool. I might, okay. What else we got? We got the main piece of this. And we want to introduce this somehow, the idea of it. So I'm going to copy it, and we'll paste it in here. Did I copy the whole thing? I might have just screwed up. Yeah, I did. And it's probably too late to unclear it, or unpaste it. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is why you should save often. We're gonna really super duper fast undo all the stuff we did, or redo all the stuff we did, undo the paste. What I did is, instead of copying the sound, I copied the track because I was on the wrong screen, and then I pasted over the pattern instead of the track sound. But watch, I do this literally all the time because I am dumb. So we're gonna fix it really fast. We're gonna get, actually it'll be totally fine. We need these gone, and this is fine. These have to go down to D. See, we're basically almost there. Clap. Is the reverb different though? What's going on? No? Okay, copied everything. That's okay. We're kind of close. So now instead, what needs to happen is we need to copy stuff from this over to here. Instead of going backwards, we need to bring a few things over here so that it still feels cohesive. So actually, let's turn those off, mute that. What are you? Okay, actually, that's good. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. That's gotta be bandpass, maybe. Can people see? Okay, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Then we need this. Sorry. We need this somehow. I have an idea. Let's go synth. And let's see if we can make this sound cool somehow. So this is something like that. Let's just have a go. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Basically, I'm deciding if I want it to be here. That's kind of cool. Okay. It's interesting. So now we need to do the trick. So like we could go, right? Like and that's not terrible. Oh, but we have this sound over here, which is a lot like... Wait, no. It's a lot like that. It is that sound. But we can highlight it more. I like it. Yo, Nick, thank you, Nick. How are you doing, man? But so we need one more thing, which I think we're gonna take this. And then we'll copy the notes from over here. Wait, okay, function copy track. Copy track, it says copy track. Function, I'm gonna even save. I'm scared. Function paste. Actually, that totally conflicts. That's not what we want. Can we put that somewhere else? What if? Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of into that. So now, what the idea is going to be is that we're going to transition out of pattern 5 into pattern 6. I'm going to mute several tracks, probably like these. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, let's see. Throw here. Definitely this. Definitely 2 and 10. And actually, maybe just 2 and 10? And this isn't anything. Maybe we should bring this sound over. Nah, I think losing that sound brings it down in energy, which is good. Okay. So let's try this out. Sorry. Oh, okay, so I should not have done 9. Let's try one more time. That's not terrible. Okay, let's try this in, I got a text. Okay. I might have evening plans. Who knew? Some friends from my old job are going to a beer garden, which sounds sick. I'm not going to leave this stream yet. My battery is only at 47%. And I'm not done with my work yet. But that's cool. Anyway, let's walk through this whole section just to see how it sounds. Okay, actually, let's do something like this. We can do this. Kind of sick, right? Here's where I wish I had another riser or something. Maybe snare fill? I don't know. It's quite Brezcha. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up. Does this mean sick in another language? Or is this an artist? Ooh, it's an artist. Boris Brezcha, German record, a DJ and record producer. That is somebody I will look up later. Dimitri's Rad, Ambient Shores. Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah. Okay. This is what I was supposed to look up earlier, I think, too. Okay. Then we do this. Let's wait for this to happen one more time, I think. Oh wait, no, we'll miss our chance. Okay, I did that wrong. You gotta bring in the thing before you do the mute. Dude, you're gonna love Boris? Hell yeah, I cannot wait. I'm gonna look this up. You're just gonna be grooving RP your evening. Then the next step here is to do a build. So we're gonna copy this, copy pattern, empty pattern, paste pattern. Everything is still intact. Thank you very much. I'm gonna save. His picture on Google. He looks like a cool. He has like the face paint. And, like, oh no, maybe it's a mask? I don't know. He looks sick, though. Boris Brezcha. Okay, yeah. Let me add his... Is Tomorrowland going to be a good intro if I watch his Tomorrowland set? Because sometimes I feel like DJs don't play their... I'm going to add it to my watch later anyway, just so I remember to check him out. But sometimes I feel like DJs who play at like Tomorrowland or something play like main stage type stuff, like big crowd stuff, rather than like if they're like a normally something else. Sometimes they don't play as much of their something else as they would. I used to be really into like Ultra Music Festival and Tomorrowland sets. Anyway, I've probably seen like every Tomorrowland like 2013 set. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Cool. So we need to turn this into a build. I'm going to turn this into a build, and then I'm going to call it, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. So the idea is to come out of this pattern again, go into this down-tempo thing, and then go into like an actual riser section, kind of like this one. Kind of like this one. So, okay, so to do that... I tend to want to shorten all the loops down. Kind of like imagine you're like a DJ and you're setting like a loop point to kind of like catch, you know, people in, and then you bring something up under that and then you transition. That's basically kind of the same vibe as how I like to think about building builds effectively on the Syntakt. So I'm going to take this, and we know we're going to E. So we're just going to have it pitch on E. So I'm going to take those out, and I'm going to copy these notes, which are on E, and I'm just going to paste them. Maybe do this, sorry, like this. So it'll go from here. It's going to take 2 extra times to go through because of my reset point. This. Actually, okay, let's leave it like that. Then we're gonna need to do a riser, of something. Or let's start with the snare. Let's see. Yeah, let's go boom, 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 boom. What? Actually, let's get the real. These are on A. The kick's on A on this. Okay, probably in the key of A, not E. But it's good that the dunk 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 is on E, for variety's sake. But anyway, we're gonna put A's here. Cool? I don't know. It's not what I meant to do. I think we just do this. Yeah. Simpler is often better. Then what else do we have? Big clap. Let's see. Okay. Then we need something to kick this up. And I'm considering, you would think that you might want to do this. But I think it'll have more impact. Because my idea is this is gonna build, and then it's gonna go da 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 boom 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 boom, right? And then I think it'll have more impact if we use a different riser sound than the da 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 sound. Which, by the way, we need to beef that up. Let's copy track 10 sound. It says sound. Oh, we need to make these happen not on fill. So it goes, so we can. And actually this also. And specifically, it's these. Oops, sorry, don't do that. These do not happen when we press fill, so that the dun 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 is silent. And actually, since the dun 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 happens only on these last 8 steps of the measure, we can then remove the no fill, off of whatever else we have here that's not on those 8 steps. So that way it's really crisp. You can just hold the button. You don't have to time the button press. You just hold the button prior to when the dot 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 happens, and then all the sound just shuts off automatically without you having to like do anything other than hold the button, if that makes sense. Otherwise, you have to like time your button press right at the end of, you know, note this step, step 8 before step 9, so that everything shuts off before it gets triggered on step 9, which is not that bad. However, this button, and specifically only this button on the Syntakt, this fill button, has latency. And it's really frustrating for me. There's like a slight delay, but when you hit it, it's pretty good, but when you release, it keeps it held for like just a little bit extra. So if you're timing for like a really perfect release on the fill button, sometimes you can get screwed. I don't know why. but it's there and it's on all my projects, so I assume it's just a Syntakt thing. It's not as responsive as the other buttons. And so when you're playing live, it's like a little bit tricky. Anyway, let's make this build. And we want to... I want to make this sound crazy somehow. It might be this. Yeah, that's kind of weird, but not bad. Yeah, okay, cool. That's weird, which is good for the purposes of a build. Then we need a riser. I think we want like this kind of riser. So I'm just gonna copy it. And let's put it, so what does that need? It needs to be on a analog track. I'm gonna put it over here. We're gonna sacrifice this shaker sound temporarily. Track, let's save so I don't fuck this up again. And just for good measure, track, copy, track sound. Track, paste. Okay, great. So put this down to A. Did it do everything? Yeah, it did. Okay, great. But let's do square instead, or something else. I like that. Track, clear, track. Wait. I screwed it up. Track, paste. Okay, back to... Where were we? I think this one. Sorry, that's really loud. Oh, that's why I want the filter. And I'm on the wrong thing. Track. Which means we, you know what? This is why we saved the project. So what happened is I pasted it on the wrong pattern, which overwrote my shaker sound. Any change will proceed. Lost. Yes. Load. So this, that's fine. Not the shakers that no one can even hear. Anyway, sorry. Now we go back to here. Copy this. This is why working on a groove box is tricky. It is not as user-friendly as a DAW. We're on pattern 7. Okay, now track paste sound. Great. Bring this down to A. Change the synths again to the whatever we liked. This one. Yeah, and then now we need to do this. And then so instead of track clear, we go function clear. Clear, it says clear track, not clear track sound. And then we're going to put in this here, and we'll make it, yeah, 120, so that it cuts off at the end. Let's see if this works. Okay, this, what happened here? Half. Okay, it's kind of like the. This is what I would say the mix is weird, if that makes sense. Like, probably can get a lot quieter. Yeah, what is the volume? Okay, it's really quiet. That'll help a lot. So now let's try this from the over here. I don't know. Okay, I think that works. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna run through everything that I have so far one time, like these first three kind of songs, if you will, to send it off, and then yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. Apparently, I have a dinner thing going on with some coworkers, so some of my old coworkers. So I'm gonna be going to that instead. Later, losers. Just kidding. Yeah. So anyway, last run through this set or whatever so far. Various tech house experiments. And yeah, please enjoy. We should do this more. Sorry to interrupt. We want to do this. Wait. Yeah. Did I do this right? Track, copy, pattern 6, track, paste. Yeah, okay. Here, I'll rewind. And that's all I got. Save for that one extra pattern. You know. But that's not in the main flow yet. It's still kind of sick. It still holds up. But yeah, I'm going to call it here. That's like a house set in progress. I wish I timed that. I would like to know how long I went playing there for a second. Let's save the project. Thanks, y'all, for hanging around. This has been by far the most successful stream I've ever had. I've had 118 views and a peak of 11 concurrent viewers, which is fucking crazy, dude. That's quite a bit. So thank you, everybody. And a quite active chat. I talked to some of you, and I met a dude from France. Here, let me move over from standing in front of the camera. And I got a good music rec, and one of my friends from college stopped by. So that's all sick. And that's a great stream in my book. I, again, am wrapping it up. Thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed the music. I will be back again at an indeterminate future date. Peace.